Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, 10th of August. I'm back in the Reading Nook with, of course, a nice hot cup of tea and a handful of parcels to unbox. So I'm going to do the first one, I'll do the largest. And got in here is this, the Madman's Library, The Strangest Books, Manuscripts and Other Literary Curiosities from History by Edward Brooke-Hitching. Books that kill, books written in blood and bound in human skin, books so long they could destroy the universe. With extraordinary stories and lavish illustrations, the Madman's Library gathers together the strangest books and manuscripts from history to form a uniquely enjoyable collection ideal for every book lover. Now, I came across this book, literally heard of it, on Radio 4. And basically, I'm a keen listener of spoken radio. And each weekday, they run a book of the week, usually for 5 episodes, and recently the excerpts were from this book, and I was intrigued because it was an interesting subject, and I thought, I want to read the rest of this book to find out. And what I got was this, and I am quite surprised because it's a little bit different to what I was expecting. I was expecting sort of like more of a standard sized book, just glancing at it. Something not quite so lavishly illustrated. I mean, look at that, for example. Or I'm just flipping through. Lots and lots of illustrations of books and weird things. And okay, yeah. And okay. This, I mean, whatever this is. Yeah, I appear to have just shown you an illustration of farting Japanese men. So let's just find out about that a bit more. Okay, that's called Higasen, literally fart competition. It's a Japanese scroll of the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, by an unknown artist depicting characters exercising flatulence against each other, likely as satire. But what I mean, okay, what we've got here. So basically, illustration of the dangers of handling arsenic-covered items, including book bindings. So yeah, just flipping through, fantastic illustrations, and it's it's working sort of like as a reference book as well as presumably a storybook, sort of like telling stories about these books. I mean, I know the stories, telling the stories of these books because essentially that's what you were listening to on the radio. But the one phrase that sort of like will probably get everybody listening to it, capture their attention, is let's have a look anthrodermic bibliopegi or pegi. Yeah, anthropodermic bibliopegi, which is books bound in human skin. Which is turns out from listening to the radio series, the book, the readings, it's far more common in history than you would think. So there's a whole chapter devoted to that. Now, I think this is, I mean, it's just I'll just keep showing you illustration after illustration. But what's interesting about this book is that it's about books. And books do form a feature in any number of different role-playing games, but there are a number where they really are important. So obviously, Call of Cthulhu with its mythos tomes, and the same again for Trailer Cthulhu, and similar horror games where you have works of horror, works of demonology, works of basically cataloguing and describing the undescribable, as it were. So this is about the books, the format the books have taken, the materials they've been written upon, about lost books, and also basically the books swindles or acts of charlatanism involving books, like great catalogues of libraries going on sale when in effect there were none except basically somebody had just done a big joke, and it's just detailed in here. So it was part of one of the sections read during the radio series. What I'm thinking in particular with this is that you can take this content and use it for inspiration for one particular campaign setting, and that's for Trailer Cthulhu. And that's basically the Bookhounds of London campaign setting by Ken Hite, which takes as its setting the 1920s and 30s, London, when the book trade flourishes off the great libraries of the nobility, who are getting rid of their books to pay death duties, and having difficulty paying the great houses that are paying their way as they once did before the Great War. So there are all these books, books to find in these libraries to plunder for something good to sell, and buy cheap, sell high. And it's not just necessarily about finding mythos tomes, or that's part of it. It's about the book trade and the characters are book hunters and booksellers and bookbinders and auctioneers and so on, and specialists looking for the right books and basically exploring the consequences of playing out the consequences of that, and the dangers of involving themselves in that. So this would be a perfect accompaniment to that setting, let alone your antiquarian or other bibliophile, or your dilettante who has a fascination and essentially income and wealth to afford to build an extensive library in Call of Cthulhu or Trailer Cthulhu. And then, here is a book to delve into for ideas to put into someone else's library, of course. And the great thing is that this book is illustrated. So, here we have a section on miniature books. So there's the possibility. Basically, pocket mythos tomes on a chain. Or popular in the 19th century, books basically written and printed and then bound into the shell of a nut. Mythos in a nutshell. Just ideas. Just going through these illustrations is almost sufficient to give the inspiration for the referee or the keeper and so on. Also, basically, we've got excerpts from the Codex Gigas, the largest existing medieval manuscript, said to have been written in one night by a monk charged with diabolic power, who included a portrait of the devil in thanks. So yeah, there's books in here basically well known, like the probably going to be a Voynich manuscript, and then obscure as well, and again all beautifully illustrated. basically just you know, I mean, who wouldn't want one of these in their library? A revolving book desk, so you can have multiple large books open at any one time for constant reference. That's fantastic. So yeah, this is Madman's Library, written by Edward Brooke-Hitching, who is a member of the QI team, basically the people who verify and set questions. So obviously knows his facts and enjoys basically facts and passing them on. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this, and I suspect with this book like this, a book sort of like focused on a particular subject like this, which would be useful for role playing as a reference work. This is something that I will actually write a review of. But in the meantime, I will put a link down below to the the reading of the book on Book of the Week on Radio 4, so you can listen to it and get a feel for it for yourself. But yeah, this is a lovely hardback, extensively illustrated. Looks like it's going to be really readable, because essentially it's not a particularly long book, essentially, because essentially it's well illustrated. I think that's going to be really good. Anyway, thoroughly recommended, just on a simple browse through. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, please click the like button down below. If you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you making those. And of course, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, when you will see, you'll get more of me here with some parcels and a book, and of course a nice hot cup of tea, and me just talking about a book or a game or something, whatever's in the parcel, for 10 minutes or so, then please do hit that subscribe button. In the meantime, thanks for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll be back again soon with another parcel and another hot cup of tea. Bye for now.